So, I want to buy a Bentley. But I've been trying to buy 3 investment properties. I've always wanted to take my entire family on a cruise from Monaco. I've always wanted to make sure that I send my children to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. I just want to send them to an Ivy League school. Setting goals can be really, really stressful, especially when you're trying to figure out which ones are the right fit for you. How do you set realistic goals? How do you set achievable goals? How do you set goals that will leave you feeling satisfied when you achieve them? Well, today we're going to talk about that on Good Eve. Hi everybody, my name is Bookie and I'm here for the Good Eve channel. And today I'm going to be talking about goal setting. How do you set financial goals? I'm not necessarily talking about career goals. I'm not talking about health or weight goals. I'm talking about setting financial goals that speak to you. And so I'm going to approach this a little bit differently by talking about 10 questions you should ask yourself when setting financial goals. This will help you ensure that the goals that you set will speak true to you and will leave you feeling happy, will leave you ultimately feeling motivated to do something about it, and will make you want to knock back each goal every step of the way. So before we get started, I'm going to ask that you give us a like on this video. And since I'm giving you 10 questions, you know what time it is. I want you to share this video with 10 people. Yes, 10 people. Surely you must know 10 people that you can share this video with, because they also need to ask themselves these questions when it comes to setting their financial goals. So now that I've said that, let's get straight to the video. So the first thing I want you to think about, the first question is, what are financial goals? Financial goals are objectives, targets, basically things or places that you would like to achieve, that you'd like to acquire, that speak to your ambitions or your desires for the future. You want to go on a specific vacation, for instance, example of a goal. You want to achieve a certain figure or a financial number when it comes to retirement. That's a financial goal. You want to send your children to a particular university. That's a financial goal. You want to send yourself, boom, 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 to a specific university, maybe for your master's program or a PhD or even just a first degree or an additional qualification or certification. That also is a goal, especially if the goal has a financial or a monetary element to it. That is an example of a financial goal. So there you have it, the definition of financial goals according to Bookie at Good Eve. Now we're going to ask those questions. What are the 10 questions you should be asking yourself when you are setting your financial goals? So the first one I'm going to talk about is, what is my financial status currently? So the question is, what is my current financial status? And the essence of this question is for you to do an assessment. What am I earning? Where am I now? What do I have? Just do a state of affairs. Where am I? What am I earning? What do I owe? Do I have any debts? What do I own? Partially, completely? Those are the things you want to think about with this first question. Now we'll go on to the second question, which is, what do I want my financial status to be by the end of the year? So now you begin to take it in steps, right? Okay, well, in this particular month, where will I be by December? what can I achieve? What would I like to set? And I would suggest that when you think about that, make it a little bit of a stretch goal. Be realistic based on what you're earning and your current rate of earning now. But then you can also say, okay, I'm going to add a 20% on top of that so that it gets you being a little bit creative. Is there extra side hustles? Is there extra work I could do? Are there extra opportunities I've not taken advantage of? Commission-based opportunities that I could take advantage of that I've just not been very serious or very motivated? That gives you an idea of a little bit of a stretch target. So the second question is, what do I want my financial status to be by the end of the year? Now, the third question you should ask when it comes to setting financial goals is, what is my savings goal? So how much of your income do you want to save? And there's this term they call savings rate. So if you're earning, let's just say for ease of calculation, 100 naira a month, your savings rate could easily be 50%, which means if you're earning 100 naira or $100 a month, and remember, I'm using these figures, I know they're ridiculously small, but I'm just using them because they give you an idea in terms of percentages, and it's easy for you to apply it to your own situation. So if you're earning 100, if your savings rate, you're saying, let me be realistic, I feel my goal would be if I can put away 30 every month times 12 months, at the end of the year, that would give me 360. So I've decided I will save 30. Remember, you're also going to marry this with where you want to be at the end of the year. So if at the end of the year, you know you need to have, let's say, 1,000, you can't be saving 30 every month and expect to get there. So those are the things you kind of think about that will guide what will be your savings goal. So you need to determine what's your savings goal. If it's 1,000, if it's 500, if it's 300, look at that also in the context of what you are currently earning, and then set a goal that will help. Fourth question you should ask yourself is, what my debt reduction goal should be. So what's my debt reduction goal? So if you have loans and you have debt, how much of it are you able to pay off on an annual basis? Especially when you're looking at maybe, for instance, the end of the current year that we're in. So what is your goal towards that? Because that's also going to guide how much of your income every month you're going to pay towards debt repayments. The fifth question you should ask yourself is, what assets will I acquire? Now, this can be a long-term goal. It doesn't necessarily have to be for this year, but it begins to speak to what are the key things that are really important for you. So when you think about the assets that you want to acquire and that you need to acquire, is it a house? Is it a car? Is it a boat? Is it, a business, an interest in a business? Is it stocks? Is it share? What assets do you want to acquire? What are the things you've dreamed of owning, have dreamed of being a part of, or you've just heard about and you're just plain curious about? You need to begin to write those things down and begin to reflect upon them and help to see how you can incorporate them into your financial goals. Number 6 is, what wealth building vehicles will I use? So how will you get there? Are you going to get there through a business? Are you going to get there through stocks? Are you going to get there through, and I hate to say it, crypto? What's the path? What kind of wealth building vehicles and approaches are you going to use to get to where you want to get to? This is very, very key. Number 7, what resources do you need to stay motivated and on track with your goals? And this is important. You set this lofty goal, but if you don't think about the support system you need to put around yourself, the accountability system you need to put around yourself, it's very easy. One shopping trip, one vacation, one party, and you are back to square one. So it's really important that you think, how will I keep myself motivated on this journey? Will there be little rewards? I can't reward myself until I hit certain milestones. Will you break it down into bits? Will you use a financial advisor as an accountability partner? If you're a couple, one of the advantages you have, you can use your partner as an accountability partner. So Transparency, if you know you're working towards a goal, both of you can be accountability partners for each other. When one is feeling weak, the other person drags them up and you keep going to hit those goals. Number 8, what challenges do you anticipate and how can you prepare for them? Because challenges will always come. There'll always be setbacks. There'll be wars, there'll be battles, there'll be skirmishes, there may be a pandemic. So many things will come that you can't predict. But what you can't predict is that they will surely come. So what's going to be your approach and your plan to prepare for them to remain on track and to even give room that, okay, there may be a little bit of a delay, but how do I keep coming back and pushing forward and pushing forward? Number 9, are my goals smart? Are your goals specific? Are they measurable? Are they attainable? Are they realistic? And are they time-based? It's important. A goal, oh, one day I'd like to own a house. You can just, if there's no timeline, I'd like to own a house in 5 years. That is a specific time-based goal. That doesn't mean it might take you 7 years or 6, but set the goal and work towards it. But if you just say one day I'd like to own a house, do you know what? 20 years can pass and you won't own that house because it's not a priority. When you don't put timing to it and you don't take care of all these factors, you'll be surprised. It will not happen. It will just be a pipe dream, a wish, not a goal. You need to make sure that all these things are in place for your goals to have feet and to have grounding. The final question, this is number 10, that you need to ask yourself when you're setting goals is, what are my tricks to get back on the wagon if I fall down? Like I said earlier, challenges will always come, but let's say you've had a setback. What can you do? Proactively think about it to get back on track. What are the steps, the tricks, the psychological tricks, the emotional tricks? Sometimes that even it has to just do with physicality. What will you do to get back on track? So I think that I'll share one of the things I do when I have setbacks, especially with my financial goals. One of the things I do when I have a setback is I work with my financial advisor, and I do have one, and I'll sit with them. What I do is I have a specific time we meet every year, so multiple times a year. And so once there's a setback and I realize that, you know what, I've messed up here, I go back to them and I find out, let's scan the market together, have a conversation with them. And I even confess, I really wanted to invest an additional, let's say $100 this month. But you know what, I've spent it on something. And you know what, I find that they're always very reassuring. Oh, don't worry, you can still do it. Okay, you know what, I'll give you a call next month and I'll follow up with you. Sometimes I even go as far as giving, a post-dated payment or check or automating the next deduction. So I know that I don't even have the room to slip up again. And that keeps me going. I also forgive myself. Mistakes will happen, setbacks will happen, even though I feel deflated, but I just realize that, you know what, I have to be kind to myself and give myself the grace sometimes to not go at the speed at which I wish I could always go. So, well, those are all the 10 points. And remember, share these 10 points with 10 people. Yes, that's right. And hey, I know you liked the video, right? So give us a like. And please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. What are you waiting for? All this good content. You don't want to miss a single episode. So make sure you subscribe so you're the first to know what's coming up next. Well, as I always say, please be humble and learn, because those are the keys. Bye for now.